Hello and welcome to this edition of the Angels and Destiny show. Why is this show called this, you may ask? So I'll tell you. The accepted meaning of angel is messenger, and the accepted meaning of destiny is to make firm establish. So my guests and I bring you messages to establish what you need to know in the present. And also, I like working with angels and the calmness they bring. Now, in a moment, I will introduce you to my lovely guest, Lesley Samms. But before that, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching the show live at a later date, as it means a lot to me to connect with like-minded women. Now, if you've never met me before, then my name is Ray, and I love to help women to crossroads in their life, heal their past, create their future, and transform their present so they can take charge of their destiny in the here and now. Now, I'm the founder of Radiant Angel Energy, and I use future life progression, past life regression, angelic Reiki, angel oracle cards, guided meditation, hypnosis to help women who feel lost get clear on their reason for being here. And I've also created a transformational journey to help take charge of your destiny and a journey through lifetimes. Now, each episode of the show will cover various themes of your journey, a mini guided meditation or angel oracle card reading with the wisdom of my wonderful guests, like today's guest, Lesley Samms, about how you can be your own confident champion and how you can trust yourself and the universe to deliver what you need. Now, Lesley has a background in finance, marketing, and branding, and an MSc in international event management from Brighton University. Now, for the past 20 years, she has focused primarily on the contemporary art sector and has a respected reputation for event delivery, writing, curation, professional development, mentoring, and coaching in both private and funded arenas and across all business sectors. Now, she successfully completed her professional NLP training in 2019 and is a member of the ANLP. Now, Lesley is the founder and managing director of Pure Arts Group, which supports artists in their professional development and career progression through a system of pure arts clubs, mentoring, coaching, exhibitions, and events. Lesley helps creatives explore and uncover the possibilities and opportunities hidden within themselves, inspiring confidence, growth mindset, and a positive outlook. Lesley advocates for women and young people actively seeking out opportunities to challenge belief systems that limit their potential. And Lesley aims to make a difference in the world. So, without further delay, hello, Lesley, and welcome to the Angels and Destiny show. How are you today?
I'm great, Ray. Thank you. That was a very comprehensive. I haven't heard all of that all in one go for quite some time. Just shows how old I am, doesn't it? If I've got a biog that long.
It's good. It's good. Experience, depth of knowledge.
Very experienced, yeah.
So, before we get into this fascinating conversation, I want to remind you that you can also ask questions, leave comments and thoughts, as both Lesley and I want you to be part of this conversation. So, please don't be shy and do feel free to share out this show. So, Lesley, why don't you tell us more about your journey and how we can be our own confidence champion and how we can trust ourselves and universe to deliver what we need?
Thanks, Ray. So, as you heard from my bio, I've been around on this planet for a while, and I've been growing and becoming more aware of myself along that journey. It's hard to believe, but for those people who have been aware of what I've been doing over the last 20 years, that when I was growing up, I was an absolutely terrified child. Spent most of my time being scared to death, trying to hide myself down the side between my mattress and the wall so no one could know I was there while I was sleeping. Scared of my own shadow, really. As a teenager, I grew my fringe very long, down to here, if not longer, maybe down to here, and would hide behind my own hair. Just because I was just scared. I was just scared. I don't know why. I had a lovely family. I just was my tendencies that I came to this planet with. For whatever reason, I arrived here quite terrified on the planet, and yeah, I had a lovely childhood, and played out in the streets with my friends, and had nice times with my parents, but I was generally very scared a lot of the time, and painfully. I remember my poor mum on occasions trying to make friends for me. I feel so sorry for her, really. I look back at that and I think, oh, bless her. She was, like, I've met this person and I think you really like their child. And I'm like, oh, I really don't want to do this. And she'd try and make friends for me. And now I've got so many friends, I don't know what to do with half of them. But I was just, I was just in an evolution. And by the time I got to my early 20s, I was quite a nervous and anxious individual, and to the point where my father was very ill when I was in my early 20s, and by the time I was 23 I had a nervous breakdown, full on catastrophic nervous breakdown, almost to the point of men in white coats even. They probably were white men in coats as well at that point, but men in white coats. It was almost that bad. And I did a deal with the doctor, actually. I remember he said to me, you're either going to go for alternative therapy and you're going to do as I say, or we're going to have to do an intervention. And I was like, what the hell does that mean? And I was like, I'm just going to, is that the therapy thing? That sounds all right. Should I go for that? Is that the option that I should be going for? And he was like, yeah, I think you should go for that one. I was like, okay, I'm going to go for that one. I don't know what it means, but it does sound better than the other thing you just offered me. In between sobbing uncontrollably. And at that point I couldn't sleep. I was always tired. It was a catastrophic time for me. And started going for these alternative therapies, and I started to learn things that they simply don't teach you in school. I started to learn about myself, how my brain worked, how I could change things for myself, how it was about my attitude, how I could relax myself, how I could take control of the situation. So when I started to feel overwhelmed and anxious, how I could take back control. And this was just a revelation. So I'd been working up to this point, I'd been working in the city in London as a risk analyst, doing a job I absolutely hated. But I was told, this is, you're very, very good at this. You should carry on doing it and we'll pay you lots of money. And I was desperately, desperately unhappy doing it. But, I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
I simply didn't know any better. So I'd carried on doing it. And then, as I say, I started getting this therapy, which I think now would be called Reiki. But at that point, it was called alternative relaxation therapy of sorts. It was in the Arches under London Bridge.
Okay, yeah.
So I'd go to the Arches under London Bridge and I'd go and see these wonderful people. Had a bit of traditional counselling. That didn't work for me. Talking therapy didn't really work for me at that time. It has later on, but it didn't work for me then. These meditation therapies and Reiki type therapies, which that's the label I would put on them, but they didn't have a label at the time, really helped me start to understand myself and understand why I would feel anxious, why I would feel out of control, why I would behave in a certain way or react in a certain way. And that's so empowering. So empowering. And I started to understand that I was a soul inside a body.
Yeah.
And there was so much more to me. I was so much more complex than what was on the surface. But I say, they don't teach you this in school.
No, they should do.
They should do, but that we'll come on to that.
Yeah.
They should teach you that in school because it really unlocked so much for me. And I went back and left my job, and I took a year off. I was very, very lucky that I had the means to be able to do that. I know that's not an option for everybody, but I'd been earning a lot of money. And so I had the means to be able to take a year off and just kind of like recover.
Yeah.
And during that time, really getting to understand myself a lot more and understand the world a lot more. My mum was very spiritual, but I hadn't really kind of like understood all of that or kind of connected with all of that up until this time. Like, she used to go to a thing called the Spiritualist Church. I didn't know what that was. It was in Gravesend on Windmill Hill. I didn't know what that was. I just, your mum goes to goes to church, is what I thought. And your mum, my mum was, people would say, my mum cared for people who had life-limiting illnesses. And we would go and, as children, we'd go and help. And there'd always be people around going, oh, your mum's such a good soul. And, but I didn't, you don't really understand all of this stuff as a child. And they'd say things like, well, she hasn't given XYZ relative permission to go yet. And I'd be going, what? But I didn't really understand what they were talking about. I was like 10. And all of a sudden, all of this, I started talking to my mum about it. And she was like, well, I don't really like to talk about it openly, but yeah, I do what they call, again, a label, faith healing. And she said, do you remember that time you fell down the stairs in the theatre in Woodville Halls in Gravesend? I don't know whether they're still there. But there were these really dangerous stairs in the middle of the theatre. And I fell from top to bottom.
Oh, dear.
And at the bottom, my ankle was facing I don't know if you can see this. I'm trying to get my hand in it. So instead of my ankle facing that way, it was kind of facing the wrong way. And she put her hands on my foot. And after about 10 minutes, her hands were bright red. And she said to me, okay, you can get up now. I just got up and ran off. Absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Didn't know what that was. It was only after she was talking to me about this at this time that I kind of got an understanding more about, what she did, and more about this more alternative approach to life. And then I started another job at Coca-Cola, and I got right back into the rat race of it. And I'm very creative, so I love the creativity of it, and I love the people side of it. And by this point, I was a lot more confident. So I stopped. I had my fringe cut. I could see people. Stop having the fringe over my face. I was always very skinny, which was part of the issue around confidence. I was very, very skinny. And while at Coke, I started to kind of grow into myself. And I started to test out a few theories. So I was like, okay, I'm going to start challenging some of this. I'm going to start challenging some of these people who are telling me what I can and can't do. So I'd start to say no. This is a word unknown to me prior to this point. I'd be yes, whatever,
Yeah.
how you want me to jump? How high? How high would you like me to jump? And in what beat, to what beat? And while I was at Coke, I started testing out the theory of stepping into my own power and being brave. All these words that people had said to me, you can do whatever you want. I was like, really? And so I started testing it out, and I suddenly started getting really positive outcomes from this, where people would be starting to defer to me, and they'd say to me, oh, I'm having real trouble with that. Could you go and fix it? I'm being like, okay, give it a go. And I started going and using the power of language to not manipulate, but to talk through a situation with people where we could create a mutual understanding, where we could move on. And I was like, wow, this is a revelation. If I change the way I think and my attitude to things, I don't have that sick feeling in my stomach anymore. I don't feel anxious, don't feel overwhelmed, like I'm going to cry all the time. So I got a bit more brave, and I started doing a few more things, and people then started saying this confident word to me. Oh, I love your confidence. I'm like, God, me? This terrified person? Complete lack of confidence. It was on every school report I ever had. Yeah. Lacks confidence, needs to, put a hand up, no. Really love your confidence. I was like, this is just, I'm having to, it's an attitude change. So then I realized that actually I just stepped straight back into the rat race again, and I didn't want to do that either. So I had to kind of step away from that. And I was like, what do I really want to do? And so I went back. I was brave again, and I walked into, I want to do something creative. And my husband said to me, look, you can do whatever you want. What is it you want? I said, well, I want to do something arty, because that's what, I love. I love art. So I walked into Windsor Art School, as it was then. It doesn't exist now. I just walked into the reception. I was still working at Coca-Cola at this time. I just walked into the reception area. I said, I just want to do something, a night class, something like that in art, just something to get connected back with my creativity. And the woman who was stood there was the head of photography, but she was a ceramicist. She said, come with me. And she took me into her studio and we started chatting. And she said, well, why don't you just do a photography diploma or a photography degree? I was like, I can't do that. I haven't got an art O level. Got loads of A levels in English and history and stuff, but I don't have an art one. And because I was told I was rubbish. I was told I was rubbish at art, so don't do that. She went, and she'd been all this time getting me to do things, helping her. Could you just help me with that? She was very clever. Could you just help me with that? And I'd do it because I'm very obliging and very well behaved. And could you just do that? And she went, well, you can. While you've been stood here, you've helped me, with the clay, and you clearly are quite capable. I'll offer you a place on this photography course. I was like, okay. She said, it's full time for 1 year. I was like, well, hold the train. I've already given up a job once and had to take a year off. She went, oh no, you've got to go all in. You've got to go all in. Otherwise, it's like, go big or go home.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, you're going to have to give me 24 hours to think about it. I went out there and I was like, no, Lesley, do it. And I went back and I resigned from my job. They were horrified. But I felt so empowered again. And it's these pivotal moments, isn't it, that give you these bursts of confidence that are resources that are then inside you forever. So I use those moments now as resources for me. I'm like, oh, I need a resource like that. I'm going to go through my filing cabinet and find it because I need to feel like that now. And I use those resources. So you have to have these brave moments and you have to step out of your comfort zone in order to resource yourself to be brave and to be your own confident champion going forward. Yeah. So it's essential. Not that I realized that's what I was doing at the time. I just thought I was mad. And so I went back and I resigned from this amazing job, and they're going to me, no, you can't do that. You're on this career path and we're going to, you're going to be running this place, because I managed to smash the patriarchy by that point. And I was like, no, I'm really sorry, guys. I don't want to run the place. You're going to have to do that without me. And there was quite a lot of, you're going to have to work 3 months notice. I was like, really? We're going to make you work 3 months notice. I'm sure by 3 months we would have made you change your mind and you can stay. No, I walked out of there on the last day of the 3 months and never turned around. And they're like, you'll have a job here forever. I'm like, thank you very much. I don't want it. And I did the course. I said to myself, because I'm brave, I'm taking steps towards bravery. It's that thing about, there's no such overnight success doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
Growing confidence doesn't happen overnight. This has started happening when I was 21, 22. And by now, this point, I'm about 29. So that's, 8 years, and I'm still just growing my bravery, growing my confidence, and resourcing my brain to know that I can do it. So that's 8 years of learning and practicing. And I'm still not properly, there yet. We're always a work in progress. I'm not there yet now, but I'm much braver now because I've done lots of these things. So it's small steps every day, but nothing happens overnight. It takes time.
It does. And Carla says, this just came to my ways. How come we always say what we can't do and don't recognise what we can do?
Yeah. And that's the growth mindset, isn't it? So that's Carol Dweck, the growth mindset. It's like, stop thinking about what you can't do and focus on what you can do. And I was so focused on, that's our education. It's so focused on how good you are at a certain thing and giving you a tick in the box or a grade. I remember always being told you're a C grade student.
Yeah.
And so I went into my life thinking I was an idiot, quite frankly. I got 3 A levels and thought I was an idiot. I mean, really? But because I've been told I was a C grade student and you'll never be any good. I've got a master's now, but I'll come on to why that happened. But you're absolutely right, Carla. And it's that thing about having that growth mindset. I didn't even know that was a thing until I did a master's. And so I, did the photography degree, got the highest grade in the country that year. So proud of myself, made myself ill. And because I tried so hard, because I thought I thought I had to kind of nail this. I had to be the best. I'm a recovering perfectionist. It's okay. I've been taking some therapy for that, recovering perfectionist, and started to understand some of these things, that hold us back. And that's when I left there, got my grade, started my own company, and there's lots of stuff that went on around that. I'm not going to bore everyone with all the minutiae of that, but after a few years, I ended up opening an art gallery, which I loved. And that's the moment when I stepped into my kind of proper confident self. I had found my place. I knew instinctively I was in the place I was meant to be. I had just a sense of it, that this is it. I'm in alignment with myself now. And I didn't have to do anything. Everything kind of came at me. I didn't have to do anything, because that's the beauty once you're in alignment with yourself, is that you stop having to work so damn hard at it. It just happens. So I'd be sitting in my art gallery and artists were just walking through the door. And they'd come in with their artwork, and we start having conversations, and they'd be like, well, have you tried this? And all that experience I'd had, in banking and risk analysis and marketing, suddenly I could help them be better at what they were doing and achieve their goals. Because everyone's, art creatives are not, I want to do this. They're on a spectrum.
Yeah.
It's not a flat line, because we know that's dead. It's that. And I could go, okay, so you want to do that? Let's go in the resource bank. Okay, we got this lot. Should we have a go at that? Have a go at that? Yep, that worked. Oh, no, that didn't work. Come back, have a little tweak. Have another little look in the resource bank. What about trying that? I didn't know what this was called. And I now understand that's mentoring and coaching, but I didn't know what that was called. I just thought that was me sitting in my gallery, not being bored.
Yeah.
Helping other people do what they want, and they'd bring me their art, and then I put it up on the wall, and then other people would come in and buy it, and I'd be like, oh, this is cool. This is working really well. This is great. I managed to open my gallery and turn a profit in the first year. Amazing. Now I now know that is almost impossible, because there is no money in art, but there is. That's a myth. So any creatives watching, that's a myth, and we break that myth every day. So I did that for a while, and then my dad was very ill, so I had to move back down to Kent. And because by this point I was living in Buckinghamshire, won't tell you how that all happened. That's a whole other story. There's about 4 podcasts in that. And so we come back down to Kent, and I left the gallery I left one of my artists in charge with the gallery, who then ran it for about 10 years. She was brilliant. So I came back down to Kent to help look after my dad, and started to kind of gather a few artists around me. Happened completely by chance, but not chance. We all know that, because I was in alignment with myself. I walked into a gallery in Rye, and I was heavily pregnant with my youngest son, and the artist, I didn't know she was the artist at that point. I was chatting to her husband about framing, and she walked into the gallery and she said to me, would you agent for me? And I looked at her and I said, what do you mean agent for you? You don't know me from Adam. I'm just standing here talking to this man about framing. She said, yeah, that's my husband. I was like, okay, how do you know I know anything about art? She said, I just know. And I was like, okay, well, actually, you're very lucky. I could have been a dentist. As it turns out, I'm not, because you could have had all your work hanging in a dentist's surgery. As it turns out, I work with artists. And so I work, Marina Kim, she's called, and she's a very well-known artist in Rye. And I worked with her, and then I realized that she needed a tribe. She was lonely. So we chatted, and I was like, you're lonely. You're just lonely. I said, do you know any other artists? I know a few. Do you know a few? And we started doing this thing where we put a group together, which we subsequently called the A21, because everyone was down the A21.
Yeah.
And I started to get to know other artists that she knew, and it worked dream for her, because she got more confident by being in her tribe, because you need your tribe. And they encouraged me to start an art fair. Again, long story short, I started an art fair. I did that, and I started that in 2009, right in the height of the crash,
Yep.
financial crash. And I ran that up until the pandemic, and we're doing really well. And then I started doing other things around that to do with professional development and mentoring, because I really loved it. So like that's the bit that really gets me out of bed in the morning. And I realized that I could give other people confidence just by talking to them. And that's an amazing thing. You know, I spoke to a client tonight who was in a crisis just before this, and they said, just you telling me, I now feel confident I can do it. And I was like, that's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's great. So just channel me when you're having a problem. Just say, what would Lesley say? Because it is all about perspective. I realize that now. It's about attitude and it's about perspective. If you think it's going to be bad, it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
If you think that someone thinks that about you, you can make it happen. I now wake up every morning and set my intention. I do my meditation. I channel my energy where I need it into my body, and I set my intention. Today's going to be a great day. I'm going to have a great day. It's going to be cool. It doesn't matter. I don't know what's coming, but I know whatever it is, I'm going to learn, I'm going to grow, I'm going to have a great day. And that's it. And some of it's horrible stuff, but if you think it's going to have a positive outcome and you're going to grow, you can adopt that attitude.
Yeah.
And that fills you with confidence. So really, to be confident, your own confident champion, you've got to set your intention. Set your attitude and your intention in the morning. And I always say this to people, I love the Buddhist religion as well. It's that thing about overnight you die,
Yeah.
and then you're reborn in the morning. Wow, that's so empowering. So it's like, doesn't matter what happened yesterday, because I died. And now I'm awake. So I've got a whole new day. What are we going to do today? And then you set your intention for the day, and we're off, and we're learning, and we're growing all the time. And you have to be vulnerable sometimes, because that's what resources you. So yeah, that's how I do it. And you know, I've had some horrible experiences along the way. The very quick story about the masters is because in 2013 I ran an event at the Saatchi Gallery for Charles Saatchi, and it was the best experience of my life and the worst experience of my life all melded into one, because I realized that my confidence wasn't quite there. So I thought it was, and I went into it thinking it was, but I realized as I approached the delivery of the event, that my confidence wasn't quite robust enough. And I still had some self-doubt, and I still was going to let my brain sabotage me. And I lost about 3 stone in the run up to the event, to the point where my friends were coming to the event as we went live going, my God, are you dying? Is there something seriously wrong with you? I looked like I'd been in some sort of fatal car accident. I mean, because I'm not big anyway, and I lost 3 stone. I think I weighed about 6 stone.
Oh my God.
On the day of opening the show, I think I weighed about 6 stone. It was horrible. I look at pictures of myself then and I think that was not a good look. Sorry, the dog's just arrived.
Yeah, we can hear that. It's fine.
Here he is. Ted's just arrived. He's come to have a little sit. So yeah, I realized I wasn't quite as confident as I needed to be. And I still had some doubt that I still thought I was a bit stupid. I was still listening to those self-sabotage, words in my head telling me that I was an idiot. And, they were properly, embedded in there. And every time someone challenged me at that event, and honestly, it took every bit of me to make it happen, this little voice in my head still kept popping up going, well, yeah, because you're a bloody idiot, aren't you? You're an absolute idiot. What the hell do you think? What on earth possessed you to think you could do this? Who are you to think you could run a massive event at the Saatchi Gallery for like £1 million turnover and break all the box office? Why did you commit to that? You're an idiot. And this is this voice in my head. So I came out of that and I thought, I've got to deal with this. I've got to nail this. I know I'm going to do the walk into the Brighton Uni thing like I did at Windsor Art College. And I bumped into a woman called Jane Luscombe, who was my saviour. And I said to her, I've got this problem. And she was like, okay, well, you need to do a master's degree then, don't you? And I did a master's degree in a year, which quite frankly, never anyone do that. Please, never do that to yourselves. But I did it and it solved it, because I understood that I'm not an idiot. I just was surrounded by people that were invested in me failing. They were invested in me failing because if a woman could do that, there was a problem in the industry.
Yeah.
These women are going to take over the world. And unfortunately, within the creative industry, it's run by men. And they were invested in me failing. And I let them. I didn't fail. I did push it through. But personally, it had a massive, massive impact on my health
Yeah.
negatively. So I went and did that. Now, stand back, guys, because that's never happening again. And so I then relaunched my business, and I relaunched my business 6 months before the pandemic. Yeah, of course I did. And so we hit March, and I thought, oh my Lord, and what am I going to do now? And my husband said to me, come on now. You're a very bright individual. I'm sure you can deal with this. And I was like, yes, I am. And so I relaunched my business in 24 hours. And we are more successful than I could ever imagine. I just hired my 3rd member of staff today.
Wow.
During the pandemic.
That's
And because I know I can do this, I have absolute confidence in myself. And I tell my brain that every morning. I lean into the discomfort. I know the more people I now know, because I have the resources to know from the experience that I've had, the more people try and put me down, the more I'm winning. That's because they're scared. They're
exactly.
running scared. You try and put me down, and that's just going to fire me up even more because I know I'm onto something. I'm onto something. And I practice being vulnerable. So I have a fear of the known. I don't have a fear of the unknown anymore. I have a fear of the known because if I've got this calendar in the kitchen and it says, I haven't done that before, so I'm pretty sure I can do it.
Yeah.
So when people ask me to do stuff, I'm like, yeah, like you asked me to do this. I'm like, yeah, I haven't done that before. So I'm pretty sure I'll be able to do it then because I haven't failed at it. So, and if I had it, I'd probably be able to do it anyway because I would have learned the lessons. So yeah, mantras, keeping it real, understanding that sometimes it hurts, being my own best friend, all of these things are all tools in my toolbox and I use them, but I show up.
Yeah. And Carla says, well, first time hearing night you die and reborn in the morning.
Yeah, I love that. I've said that to about 3 people. They've come to me with some issues over the last, different things. And I've said, okay, so let's take a so you want to get the best out of every day. How can you approach that relationship or that situation with that new attitude? And within 24 hours, they ring me and they go, flipping it, that's a game changer.
Yeah.
You have to accept what you can't change. If you can't change it, there's no point fighting about it. Change you. If you can't change it, change you. I know it's a complete cliche, but your thoughts are not facts. They're just all the bank of filing from you and all the dead people that have gone before you. And all from your past lives as well.
Yes.
I realized that. So all my past lives sometimes come up and try and sabotage me. And I'm like, thank you, past self. I don't need that. That's not resourceful today. Thank you. But yeah, I'm a champion for women. I'm a champion for, but I'm just a champion for humans. We can do whatever we want to do, and we can be as successful as we want to do it. It's not about your IQ. It's about your EQ. Doesn't matter what your IQ is. In fact, if you've got a lower IQ but you're highly innovative, you're going to be rocking it. If you've got loads of empathy, you're going to be rocking it. So don't worry about it. Doesn't matter how many exams you got. It helped me because it just resourced me to deal with the self-sabotaging tool that I was allowing to hit myself over the head with. Work out what your tripwire is and work out a workaround. That's what I did. I just worked out a workaround. It could have been anything. But that was my workaround. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And I'm happy to help anyone with that. I do one-to-ones, I do workshops, I do courses, I do programs, I do everything. I'm doing everything. And I time block so I can be as effective and have as much energy as I need to because I like to turn up. I like to show up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So hopefully, through some of that, some people have got what they needed.
Yeah, which is how this show works, and yeah, people will get exactly what they need to find. Yeah, and you know, and when you listen to you talk, you know, you do come across, you have that really confident energy that's kind of like inspiring and going, yeah, I can do this. I
Quite frankly, if I can, who used to sleep between the mattress and the wall, remember, and
uh,
hide in the bushes on the opposite side of my parents' house so no one could see me. If I can do it, quite frankly, anyone can. It's just in here.
yeah. Yeah. And again, it's
Mm.
not allowing other people's opinions to affect you. And I think that's what we are really bad with children. I think it's got a lot better than it used to be. But yeah, we can be really damaging to children without realizing we're being damaging
Seen
to
and not
them.
heard is a killer phrase.
Mm,
I was told that so many times. You know, we'd go to my grandparents' house and it'd be like, seen but not heard. And I'd be told that all the way in the car, seen but not heard. And that's just cultural and it's generational. And and it's really damaging. I say to my children, you know, we sit around the table. My youngest one gets really cross now. He's like, you put those cards on the table again, haven't you? And I've got these little box of cards, and I go, you can be in charge of the cards. And then they're questions, and I'm like, take a question out and ask your grandparents. Ask them really challenging stuff. And we have really, really heated debates with the grannies. And I think, you know, everyone's opinion matters
yes.
because they are just opinions. So everyone's opinion matters as long as you're prepared to listen to everyone else.
Yes. And that's the thing, being prepared to listen, which a lot of people aren't prepared. It's they're sort of like, yeah, this is my opinion, this is the fact, without listening to what other people have got
Mm,
to say. And when we should be listening to what other people have got to say, because within everybody's conversation there is a little snippet, a little nugget, a little something, even if it's their energy, that can give you an insight or an inspiration or a point of view.
absolutely. 2 ears, one mouth.
Yeah,
That's the proportion.
yeah, perfect. And Carla has says, I'll be watching this again and again. Many lessons in this conversation.
Oh, I'm glad it helped, Carla. And yeah, believe in yourself. Trust yourself.
Yeah.
Trust yourself.
Yeah. And if anyone else has got any questions they want to ask or any comments, then please do feel free to type them in, and we'll try and get to them before we end
Mm.
the show. So, as you know, I do guided meditation and angel oracle card readings, and each week I like to ask my guests what they would like me to do for them. So, Lesley, would you like me to do a guided meditation or pull an angel oracle card for you and everyone watching?
Could we have the card,
Of
please?
course we can. We like
I
we
love
put it
I love
do it by
angel cards.
hand.
I love the. You knew I was going to say that because I love the angel cards.
I like it when people choose the angel card. Now, as those that know me know, when I do the cards, I don't do the cards to predict the future. It's what you need to know for your present, which can seem a bit contradictory because obviously I work with past lives and I work with future lives. But when I work with the past, it's to clear the past so you can be fully present. And when we go into the future, it's so you know what your future is going to be so you can be fully present. So yeah, so it's cards what we need to know in the present. And just so I do the cards, my cat Gyps has turned up. You might have just heard her a little bit there saying hello. So let's give the cards a quick cleanse and a bless. So what does Lesley and everyone who's watching this need to know for their highest good at this moment in time? What does Lesley and everyone who's watching this need to know for their highest good moment in time? Perfect. So we have got fellow travellers. Support is all around you.
Perfect.
An absolutely perfect card that ties in really with what we've been talking about. And
Mm,
it is saying, you know, there is support around you. You just need to reach out and look for it, and that support can come through anything. You know, on there you've got a rainbow and a peacock. You know, so it's don't just look for support from things you or people you know, but look for support for people you might not yet have met. and
I love that.
see. And
There's Edith. Thank you, Edith. I think that is appropriate because we are a tribe, but it's lovely to have that reassurance that there is support all around. Because I do feel myself as this kind of center hub of the holding everybody, but I'm very fortunate that I do really feel that when I need the extra support, that people come.
yeah, and that's it. When you send that energy out, that rainbow out to say, I need some support here, um,
Mm,
and trust that
mm,
support is going to come to you. The universe will give you the support you need. You just have to ask and accept that it's going to come in.
I do trust it.
Yeah,
It's happened enough times now that I have complete faith that when I need it, it appears.
yeah. So if you're watching this,
And everybody else.
yeah, totally. So, Lesley, do you have any insights or thoughts to leave our viewers?
Now you said this to me at the beginning, didn't you? And I just made a couple of quick word notes to myself because I thought the things that I benefit from most really is the vibration and the amplification of vibration. So having that having those positive vibrations, raising your vibration, the more you raise it through meditation, through getting out in nature, through walking. I make sure I do these things every day, raises and amplifies that vibration so that you feel so energized. It means that it's almost like a superpower. So it means that you can do more of what you want to do. And as I said, people who knew me maybe 20 years ago wouldn't recognize me now because there was a period of my life where I had to sleep 2.5 hours during the day because I was so unwell. And now I'm lucky if I get 7 hours sleep at night because it's rising. I do all of these practices, these gratitude and meditation and walking in nature, and that raise your vibration and your well-being. They make you feel so well
Yeah,
that you've got so much energy that you have capacity. It's almost like slowing down time.
yeah,
It feels almost like slowing down time. So that's what I would say. The more you raise your vibration through definite practices of well-being, like, as I say, meditation and gratitude, etc., and walking outside, the more you amplify the goodness that you're doing.
exactly. And if you can't do lots of stuff, even just one of those
Just one.
things,
Mm.
gratitude, that you can do. If you need to, you can go when you're in the bathroom. You,
I do my intentions while I'm cleaning my teeth.
yes, so do I.
I set my intentions while I'm cleaning my teeth. It's a habit now.
Yeah, I do that as well.
So because you're looking at yourself, generally you're looking at yourself in the mirror. So it's like you're mirroring it back at yourself.
Yeah,
So there's always time, even if you just go and stand on the doorstep and just get some fresh air on yourself. But yeah, that you can amplify it, you can grow it.
yeah, absolutely perfect. So I hope everyone that you've enjoyed this and found it insightful. And the words of wisdom that Lesley has given you will help you further on your journey. So, Lesley, if people want to connect with you, how do they do that?
So, as you said at the beginning, I'm the founder of Pure Arts Group. So, if you go on to pureartsgroup.co.uk on the World Wide Web, you'll find our website, and there's loads of stuff on there for people to do. There's loads of resources that are free. There's loads of broadcasts and blog posts and stuff that you can that'll help you. If you want to take it one step further, if you click on the Learn button on there, you can see we run workshops, courses, and programs. So if you're interested in stuff like that, you just click on the link. And if you want a private one-to-one with me, there is a button, or you can just email me, leslie@pureartsgroup.co.uk.
Excellent. And what I will do is I will put those links in the comments after the show so that people just need to click directly on them and they'll go straight to those pages.
They
So
can DM me. The penny is even closer to dropping, Jonathan Haitley said. Good, Jonathan. I booked this session especially for you, my love, so that you could listen again.
And
um,
he's a sculpturist?
sculptor. He's a
Sculptor.
sculptor. So you can DM me on Instagram or Facebook, but I do have people who run those platforms. So you will be waiting. You may not get an instant response because it'll go through Sophie and she will then forward the message to me. But yeah, you can DM me. And if you're in this new thing called Clubhouse, I'm on there too. So you can follow me on there.
Yeah, yeah. Leslie's trying to break through the male-orientated barrier on
Yes.
Clubhouse. She's determined to.
Very, very male, white male orientated. So I'm only in there for diversity and to be disruptive. I'm there purely to be disruptive and to get a female, white female voice in there. There's plenty of black ladies on there, and that's great. And I'm loving that, and they've got really good opinions. But white women, yeah, very light on white women. So yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in there being disruptive. Anyone who knows me will totally accept that I'm being in there causing trouble.
Oh, excellent. Well, I won't join you because it's iPhone and I don't agree with Apple. But if it's Android, I might join you.
I think they're going to do it, so watch out.
Yeah. Oh God. They're going to be running scared then. So if you have reached that crossroads in your life and you need help finding your destiny and getting clear on your path, then I would love to be that guide for you. Please feel free to reach out and connect with me, and we can arrange a free 20-30 minute video call to find out more about each other and whether I'm able to help you on your journey. And of course, if you want to join Angel Wings membership community, you can do that, where you get a chance to grow with ascended masters, gods, goddesses, angels, archangels, oracle cards, and the other members of the group as well, to spread your wings and soar. And of course, you can sign up to my weekly newsletter and get some free gifts on there to help you de-stress. And of course, I have now just taken part in the Healing and Believing series of videos, where there's 14 therapists who have created 30 to 60 minutes of a therapy for you to actually try out, to experience, and you get that for a lifetime. So check out the link for that. My episode is being aired tomorrow, so I'm quite looking forward to that. So thank you all for watching, and I'd like to invite you to share this video, as I'm sure there are more women who feel lost and want to get clear on their destiny just like you. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then please do subscribe and definitely hit the bell to be notified of when the show goes live, or anything else like the guided meditations, future life, angelic Reiki, past life that I post on there. So thank you everyone so much for watching. Thank you for joining in with the conversation. Thank you so much, Lesley, for being here. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I look forward to you all joining me again, same time, same place next week. Take care. Bye.